Let's go. Welcome to the pod every Wednesday, back to represent two dudes with attitudes. Yeah, here comes the main event. Every week it's the dudes from the east and the west, breaking down everything you've seen and the best of the best. Came together on TikTok, hit it off from the jump. Now they never gon' stop. Shooting star PRS, you can hit the follow. My wrestling opinion is someone you should all know, and they call him MWO. Yeah, it's rich on the flow, and I thought you should know. Two dudes in the mood that be dropping the jewels. This is not for the fools, this is just how we do. Talking WWE, no one is touching the team. Cool, calm, collected, the methods will be. You can hit the 5 stars when it's time to rate on whatever platforms. Two dudes, get it straight, yeah?
Yeah. I still like it. Every single time I hear it, jacks
me
up.
too. I know.
Gets me going. What's going on? Yeah. Way to start off our Back to the Mornings episode. What's up, everyone? It's back to Two Dudes with Attitudes of Wrestling podcast. What's going on, Two Dudes Wolfpack? We are back in the morning, man. It's 9:20 my time, like 12:20. It's like lunch at your time or after lunch, depending how old you are. If you've already hit up the lunch menu.
Not yet. Not yet. That'll come after.
You're a later guy, huh? All right.
Sometimes I do it early, but today is going to be a later lunch. Hopefully my child will be napping. I don't know if people know, but there's a hurricane out there, and they canceled school in North Carolina. They canceled the local schools around here, and it is perfectly sunny outside. So today was supposed to be the first day of school for my little girl too. It was supposed to be her first ever day, starting kindergarten, and instead she's now starting tomorrow. So but it's perfectly sunny, and I'm just like, get her out of here,
right? But also nothing like your first day of school on a Friday. You like go to school, and then you're just like out again,
and then Monday is the holiday too.
Yeah,
so she won't go again until Tuesday.
What's the point? Schools are weird, man, especially public schools and such. But anyway, we're back. We're doing it. It's WWE Thursday. WWE Thursday. We're going to be switching things out. Well, we'll get everyone caught up. But as always, I'm the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO. And with me is that honorary dude, Shooting Star Press. It was an emotional week, huh?
It was. Yeah, it was. We lost two legendary performers in the WWE, Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Terry Funk was a lot older. Bray Wyatt was much younger. He was way too young for anybody to die. He was only 36, and it was an emotional week for sure.
And we had talked about it a little bit, and I don't know if you saw, but people were posting that he had made a video like 5 hours before his death, and it's just insane to think about. And like I always say, man, whenever you say goodbye, tell your loved ones you love them, just in case. It doesn't have to be sentimental. But don't leave in a fight. Always leave happy, because, 5 hours you're cutting a video completely healthy and fine, and then the next minute you are in the clouds, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking, and it can happen to anyone, truly.
Yeah, and the fact that he was only 36, I just turned 37 in March, so that has me kind of on pins and needles and questioning my mortality, and it's just really eye-opening when that happens. It really, it could happen to you. He was 36 and had a heart attack, and you just never know what could happen. So it's really sad. And rest in peace to Bray, rest in peace to Terry Funk, and condolences to their family.
And it's also crazy too, because with science nowadays and our diets and what we eat and blah blah blah, that you think that like we're gonna live forever. And I just feel like nowadays people are 30s and 40s for men in general, and now it's starting to be like women are dying of heart attacks in their 30s, and it's crazy, man. Just take care of yourselves out there, y'all. And with that said, SmackDown, WWE, people, they can say have flaws maybe with booking or how they do things, but one thing WWE always gets right, and that is their presentation of what they present with their shows and their video packages, and tributes are no less. And Friday Night SmackDown was basically a tribute show. As I pointed out, that they were supposed to have Jimmy Uso come on, and they cut that away. Jimmy Uso is going to be coming back next Friday. They just kind of pushed everything and made this kind of a tribute show for Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. And one of the cool things is, like what me and you were talking about, is that they had a couple guys up there who I didn't even know were still on the roster. They had Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman were on that stage. So they opened up with everybody on the stage. So correct me if I'm wrong. Braun he didn't get re-released, right? He's just hurt.
Yeah,
Eric
he's hurt.
Rowan, wasn't Eric Rowan on AEW? Isn't he on the roster?
He was on the AEW tribute show for Brody Lee. And now
that was a long time, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not with WWE at the moment. I still think he's a free agent, or maybe not anymore. I don't know. But I think they flew him in just because, his family, and they were front and center because I think they're the last two remaining of the Wyatt family members. So
which is also scary to think about, and it's weird to think because Brody Lee died super young as well. And
41.
Cancer? Was he cancer?
They never released it. They just said he had an illness, and they kept it secret for so long that I don't think they ever really said what he passed away from. Bray, they said that it was COVID. He had COVID-19 when he stepped away from the WWE right before his match with Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, and that led to a heart issue that was uncovered during the whole COVID-19 diagnosis, and then he was close to making an in-ring return. He was probably almost being cleared. There was all these rumors that he was going to return, and return is imminent. And then he passed away from a heart attack that was exacerbated by the COVID-19 issue. So,
which is even worse. I always feel like when people get better, it's always like then all of a sudden it's like no, you're fine, and then it's like poof. Well, so basically they open up with a tribute video. I mean, they open up with the 10 bells, and they do their thing for both men. Very respectful, and Michael Cole cuts a good little, part where he's like kind of in front of the stage and he speaks and talks. But they open up with Bray Wyatt, and they do a tribute video, kind of him from the start all the way until the end. And they cut that one promo that we were all kind of confused about when he did it, which was about his life and how appreciative. And now when you listen to that promo, because that was like his last one, right? It's like very eerie and very like, wow, like heart-wrenching. But that tribute video, man, and they ended up showing it on Raw and SmackDown. But when you first saw it, or Raw and NXT, excuse me, when you first saw it on SmackDown, man, it's like you're watching it and they're showing all the stages from Husky Harris to the original Wyatts to when he became, the Bray Wyatt that he is now, to the Fiend with Alexa Bliss, to when he came back again and made his return. But then they cut into sort of showing some backstage scenes in pictures with him and wrestlers, and then they had him and his family and his kids and JoJo, and it was just like it was hard to watch. And I know the world is a buzz right now on emotions and feelings and who you can care for, and I'm a man that you don't have to know somebody to be touched by them, and you don't have to know somebody to be loved and to love somebody and to be sad about something. And I think a lot of people, us included, you watch this man every single day for however many years, you feel like you know them, right? I mean, they're just someone you look up to. It's like basketball players and so on. So, I mean, it's like, this was an impactful video. It hit me hard. It was hard to watch. And I had to watch it 3 or 4 more times throughout the week, and it didn't get any easier. And once again, they do it right, but man, adding in that family, which you're supposed to do, and like you said, you're 37, I'm 42. So the fact that he's 6 years younger than me, it's just, I could not imagine
he's actually
leaving right now my kids alone. So
he's one of the first wrestlers that I followed pretty closely that passed away that was younger than me. Eddie Guerrero, he died at the age of 38, but I was 19 years old when that happened. So I mean, it was still way too young for anybody to pass, but I was 19, so he was 19. So it didn't really resonate with me the way that this one does, because now this guy's younger than me, like, and it's heart-wrenching. But yeah, I mean, I thought the tribute stuff was well done, and I got to give WWE a lot of credit too, because he passed away on Thursday and we got the news at around 6:37 or 6. Yeah. It was like 6:36 p.m. or something like that, and they had less than 20 or just about 24 hours to put that whole thing together and fly people in and get They got Braun Strowman, who's currently hurt, and Eric Rowan, and they flew all the wrestlers in. Cody Rhodes was there, all in probably had to have been less than 24 hours notice to get out there and do a tribute for Bray. And I'm sure they were all happy to do it, but I got to give them credit. I mean, that was the way that they put it all together in such a short amount of time. Just shows you how talented and how awesome that company is. And at at putting on shows, and
how good that video was put together. It wasn't like it was like if I was going to put something together in 24 hours, it wouldn't be my best work. That was like a beautifully done, perfect video with the song, the whole world. And then after the video showed, the crowd was chanting and singing with him and thank you, Bray. And we got the whole world in his hands. And it was just like, even talking about, I don't really want to talk too much, but yeah. And then you like some things, how it ended and some other stuff that they did. Cause it didn't just stop there. I mean, obviously they showed little highlights. I did want to say really quick that the highlights were quick. I thought they were a little too quick. I know they have time constraints, but I did like that they had the barcode, the QR code. So I thought that was a cool touch because that was kind of his thing when he came back. But not only that, you scan that QR code and you can watch
the whole
these
clip
moments in full. So I did appreciate that. But go ahead. Yeah, I know you like goes out the part.
Yeah, I really like the LA Knight promo. And I mentioned I put a video up on TikTok just yesterday saying that was probably the best LA Knight promo of his entire career. Better than anything he did in Impact, and better than anything he did in NWA, and better than anything he did in NXT. And I thought, we'll talk a little bit about The Miz and his promo when we get to Monday Night Raw, because The Miz brought up some good points in his promo, and I thought this was well done. It was emotional. It was serious. It was funny. I mean, when he did the Miz voice and the Miz impression, and I love that he tied his connection to Bray Wyatt. He said that Bray Wyatt and I weren't the best of friends, but he taught me how to be the best of myself and reach deep down and get the best out of myself. And he brought the best out of me. And so it was a great way to honor Bray, but also sell his match with the Miz. And I thought he transitioned it perfectly. And then he ended it with, a wise man once told me, Miz, next time you see me, run. And it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. So, I love it all.
I agree with you. It was really done. And just, I like when they do, hey, B-roll, what's going on?
We're live, B-roll.
We're live, my man. I did like that, that I like when he's trying to keep, the scriptedness to it, not trying to go, to kayfabe or whatever they want to call it. He's kind of keeping it there by saying, you made me a better person and this and that, or a better wrestler, or challenging me, although we weren't, we were enemies or we were rivals, or however he worded it. But I liked it all. I liked that it was just like, hey, I need to pay tribute to this guy, but I don't want to cut characters. So let me keep this going. And there was another tribute, Cody Rhodes, right? This was on SmackDown, correct?
Yeah, Cody
Rhodes. They can't just talk about. Yeah, there it is. Cody was the perfect one. So so he gave a tribute to Terry Funk
to talk about Terry Funk, and he introduced the new Terry Funk hardcore match for the Street Profits against the Brawling Brutes. And I don't want to criticize the match, but I thought it would be a little bit more hardcore than what it was. But again, it couldn't have been easy for any of those wrestlers to do that, to be in the ring at that time and put on a great match. I mean, it was a fun match, and Bobby Lashley got involved, and I was actually surprised, but also kind of happy that they continued to advance storylines and didn't make it a full on tribute show where they're
like
no
with
matches.
Owen Hart, if you remember,
and but yeah, it was Cody Rhodes is the perfect person to talk about Terry Funk, and he also brought up Bray Wyatt as well, but he basically said that Terry Funk and his dad were so close and they were big rivals, and it was just it was an emotional SmackDown for sure. It was. But yeah, the match itself was not hardcore at all. But
no,
but other than that, I mean, it was fine.
But we got Bobby Lashley in there and did a spear and got the wins and kind of building their group. But yeah, so the match was not hardcore, and we don't really want to talk about too much. We wanted to kind of have SmackDown just be normally we bring up 2 points and everything else, but we just really wanted to talk about just that, leave it at that, and move on. That WWE did a great job paying tribute to the 2 that have fallen. And it's crazy because, one, even though I think Terry Funk was in his 80s, right? Still too young, right? Everyone should at least live to their 90s. But at least it was kind of sad because, it was somebody who did live a life, and then somebody who just was kind of in the middle of living their life. So it's
getting ready to return too. And anytime there's something that's going on in the WWE, like, just the last week we saw Edge, what could be his final match on SmackDown. I think the week before I was like, I think this is the time that Bray Wyatt's going to come back. And now, it's starting to sink in that he's not going to come back. He's never going to come back, and that's the part that makes it the most sad. Cody Rhodes is on the Grayson Waller effect on Payback. Now that seems a little odd. That seems like the perfect time for somebody to return. And normally I would say Bray Wyatt, but obviously he's not going to be there. And that's the part that sucks the most out of all this is we'll never see him again.
I agree. So with that said, let's move on to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Let's get some back to our regularness with all this sadness that's been going on and memories and the people will never forget. But Monday Night Raw, they're continuing their trend of having mediocre shows. They're trying to build storylines. There's some good stuff going on, but at the same time, there's some meh stuff going on. I want to talk about what I'm wearing, as always, my Judgment Day. They had a busy day, and for better and for worse. I just want to run it down really quick on the things that kind of happened. So basically, Damian Priest wrestles Sami Zayn to kind of open up the show. Priest gets a win, so once again, that's a plus.
Yeah.
But JD McDonough helped, and then Priest for some reason is thankful, but then decides to bully him and pushes him down to the ground. Basically tells him to stay out of my business, and then KO, who was, I don't know, watching from the hot dog stand, I don't know, all of a sudden was in the ring beating up on JD McDonough afterwards with Sami Zayn as Damian Priest just watches. So once again, another JD McDonough, I'm assuming, trying to get into the Judgment Day, but Damian Priest is not having it. This leads to Priest and Finn versus KO and Sammy at Payback. So a last second add in to Payback for the tag team titles. And they later on announced that it's going to be a Steel City street fight because I guess it's in Pittsburgh. So why not make it Steel City? Yeah, I mean, why not just be a street fight? Maybe they'll use some footballs or I don't know. Maybe they'll throw Terry Bradshaw at somebody. I have no idea what.
Immaculate reception.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, we were talking about this off the air, but what's the difference? Like, we need like a wrestler, like a referee or somebody to come out because I don't understand the difference.
Maybe we should get one on our show.
Yeah.
You know somebody. What I mean?
But like a street fight versus a hardcore match versus no disqualification matches versus Falls Count Anywhere versus I don't even know anymore. Yeah.
I mean, you know the difference between steel cages and that, but yeah, like and not only that, but then all of
you can use weapons in all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even the Texas Tornado tag match. No, it's a tag match. But again, it's the same thing, right? It's just hardcore. You can do whatever you want. And now all the like a Steel City.
No holds barred matches. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the difference between the Steel City street fight and just a regular street fight? Or the street fights that they had one a couple weeks ago. Like
the Music City.
Yeah, the music. Yeah. Well, that one you could use music. Remember that one? That was the one where
that was.
Yeah, someone went through a piano. But yeah. So with all that said, Mommy then comes backstage, and Damian and Finn are having their normal beef and arguing and bickering. And Mommy basically says, "Look, y'all shut up. If you don't bring the titles home on Monday after Payback, there's going to be some changes being made." And so once again, we're in this like mix of who's in charge, who's not. And then Mommy gets beat up while she's out with Dom Dom by Raquel Rodriguez to push that match going on at Payback. So once again, ups and downs. Mommy gets beat up, obviously, because she's probably going to win. But still, she got her comeuppance. But now, is she the leader? Is Damian the leader? Is Finn the leader? What's going on with Judgment Day? Are we breaking up? Are we not? Is this a plus? Is this guaranteeing that they're winning the tag team titles? Or is this guaranteeing that they're breaking up? If they do break up, what's the point of JD McDonough? So is JD McDonough going to get in? Is somebody going to leave? What is going on, Shooting Star? I'm confused. And it feels like Judgment Day now, even though they were all over the place, are getting less time. They're not opening the shows anymore. Shoot, Mommy and Dom Dom couldn't make it to NXT this week. They were just on via, like you said, Vine. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know what's happening, what's going on. But what did you think? Are you confused by this? Are you is it intriguing you because so much is going on? Are you like...
I think we're kind of in that lull period where they need something to re-energize it and rejuvenate it. And whether that's a full, I don't think it's a full-on breakup, but let's get to the next chapter already with JD McDonough. Where is he? Is it going to be him and Finn breaking off and going on their own in the tag division? Or is it going to be Damian Priest that leaves? Is it going to
JD comes in? Yeah.
Is it going to be a full-on breakup? I don't know, but I'm kind of over it at this point. I'm kind of ready to figure out, like, we're dragging this story out a little too long, and we need to get to the next chapter. Kind of like when the bloodline there after WrestleMania, it was Solo and the Usos against Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle for like 7 straight weeks. This has been going on now for the last like 2 or 3 months. Even Sami Zayn cut a promo basically saying, "I'm tired of this." I think he was feeling
it ends, right?
Yeah. He's like, it's got to end because I'm tired of all this. It's been the same thing every week. I felt like he was kind of projecting a lot of what the fans have been thinking in that little backstage segment. But yeah, they've got to do something, and I'm intrigued. I mean, I was happy to see that Damian Priest got the win. I was happy to see that they didn't open the show with your typical Judgment Day promo, and it wasn't a tag team match in the main event with Cody Rhodes involved somehow or Seth Rollins involved somehow. It was a little. I like that it was a little bit different, but I am ready to advance to the next chapter, whatever that chapter is. Let's just get there already, and I hope it comes on Saturday.
Well, it needs to end on Saturday between Sammy, KO, and Cody. I mean, Cody's moving on, which we'll talk about too, but it needs to end that way. So if they don't win the tag team titles and then we go on to a breakup, at least it's progressing the story to another. But I'm just over. I mean, they literally have been wrestling Cody, KO, and Sammy for 2 months straight, literally.
And it's
been like
it's 8
weeks. I'm done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the segment with Raquel Rodriguez. I thought she looked strong, and
which she needs to. Yeah.
And they're kind of building that up too, which is good. So Judgment Day is just a little all over the place. When I talked about this just a minute ago, when I talked about LA Knight cutting the best promo of his career on the Bray Wyatt tribute show and the Terry Funk tribute show on SmackDown, The Miz came out, and we heard LA Knight's theme song, and everyone popped really loud, and they were to their feet. Everyone thought, "Oh yes, LA Knight's here." The commentators played it off like they didn't know, and out came somebody who looked like LA Knight, and it was The Miz dressed as LA Knight in full LA Knight gear. He had sunglasses that said LA Knight. He had the beard, he had the vest, he had the yellow shirt, he had a chain, he had the Timberland boots and the really tight skinny jeans. I mean, he pulled it off. He looked just like the guy. Like, the man can pull off some. He dressed up like The Rock before. He's dressed like the man can pull off some looks. And The Miz came out, and he was a little over the top, but I thought he raised some good points. And by doing that, I feel like he was raising some good points. And he basically just kept saying, "Yeah, yeah," and then he switched to "Give me a hell yeah." I mean, just bring it. Yeah, what? Yeah, like just kind of going back and forth with that, and basically proving that LA Knight is nothing more than a walking catchphrase. And I've been kind of feeling that way up until that Bray Wyatt promo on Friday night, where he didn't do his catchphrases all the time, but yeah, it was. I thought it was a good promo from The Miz. It kind of came off like a little bit of a mini temper tantrum because LA Knight has gotten over organically. The crowd has been in love with him since the very beginning, and they continue they fall more in love with him every time. Whereas The Miz, people don't really like The Miz very much, and I don't know why. The Miz can bring it. The Miz is good on the mic, but I love this segment. I thought this was the highlight of the night, in my opinion, on Monday Night Raw. The Miz dressed like LA Knight, and then he switched from I guess LA Miz to regular Miz, and basically said that you people don't. That's all you people care about is a free T-shirt, because he was going to offer them a T-shirt. If you want a T-shirt, give me a hell yeah. I mean, yeah. It was all, and then he just threw the shirt on the ground, and then he said that you guys don't deserve. That's all you guys care about is free T-shirts. You guys are suckers. You fans are complete idiots, and that's all LA Knight is good for. He's just the flavor of the month, and he hasn't been around. He hasn't seen the things I've seen. He hasn't done the things I've done. And everybody's going to be saying after Payback, M-I-Z. I thought it was a good way to end the segment. It was perfect, and I thought Miz, like I said, I thought Miz raised some good points because LA Knight. One of my concerns with him is that his shtick can kind of get a little old. The Rock was kind of dressed down on the microphone when he came back by John Cena because he had the same shtick over and over. CM Punk kind of dressed The Rock down because he had the same shtick over and over. In this day and age, you have to be able to adapt a little bit more on the microphone. The days of, having the same catchphrase over and over and letting it get over, and days are kind of gone. You got to be able to adapt a little bit on the mic. And I thought LA Knight did it on Friday, and I hope he continues doing that going forward. But yeah, I like what The Miz did.
Yeah, it was good stuff. And The Miz this is just like another perfect example of how underrated The Miz is, and how not even just underrated, but not respected he is. But he's done. I mean, he mocked John Cena. He came out dressed as John Cena once. Daniel Bryan, when Maurice was dressed up as Brie Bella, and then he also came out as The Rock with the bald cap on, and he's always done great impersonations. This might have been his best. He sounded exactly like him when he first did it. Then I think he started getting excited and it got a little out of it, but he was still sounding just like him. He looked like him. He had that colored in beard. It was just all good stuff.
I thought LA Knight sounded just like The Miz too when he did. He did. Like, I have too much bass in my voice, and he went back to. I was like, whoa, that's like a pretty spot on impression.
They both really. And here's the thing, right? When everybody was hollering for LA Knight to get some wins, get a title, whatever, this is better for him. The Miz, if there's one thing The Miz can do, it's get you over. And that's a fact. I mean, it's proven. Go back and look at it. I mean, minus MJF, he's very, very good, if not one of the best, at getting people over, making them bigger than what they are. LA Knight winning is going to make him such a good star, a bigger star. The Miz is going to push him to where he needs to be. Just overall, it's already made him better with his promos and such. So, I mean, I liked all of this. I liked where The Miz was going. I like the intensity. I just hope that in the end we can start getting more of The Miz and not making The Miz such a gatekeeper and such a person. I know that's what they do with Dolph Ziggler, but Dolph Ziggler's kind of a part-timer. He comes in and there, he gets his money, he does his thing, but The Miz is like always there. I don't like The Miz getting rock bottomed by, Snoop Dogg or People Elbow, at WrestleMania. And he was going to get beat up by Shane McMahon until Shane McMahon blew both his
squats. And then Pat McAfee beat him up.
And Pat McAfee beat him. Like, I want to see The Miz kind of get something going. He doesn't have to win titles again. I mean, maybe one day. I mean, I think he gets that respect. He needs a title run one more time. But let's have him get some wins and have some feuds. And this is what I like. Like, you know what I mean? He's on the airtime. He's getting good stuff. He's not just joking or being a joke. And, and even if he loses, at least he gets that push, and let's see him move on and push somebody else and get some wins, hopefully, not just because you can push and elevate people by winning as well. So, but I did like it. This was one of the most fun things on Raw, if not the most fun thing on Raw. So,
I enjoyed it. And there's a backstage thing of him doing just, I don't know if it's I saw it on TikTok or somewhere, but it's a WWE thing where he's just walking backstage dressed as LA Knight, and he's just saying, yeah, like the whole time.
That must have been before, because he ripped all his clothes off. That's funny. That's good stuff.
It was pretty funny.
But now I want to kind of talk about something that's not good stuff. And something that was good stuff until this week. So we've gotten this kind of rivalry between Chad Gable, Shorty G himself, and the Ring General Gunther. And it's been great. And it's something that shows that if you push things correctly and book things correctly in wrestling, it doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are, you can make things believable. And I think Chad Gable is somebody who's believable of beating Gunther for the title. And I talked about this, and I think them wrestling and him losing a few days before he hits the reign is better than Gunther getting it. Because Gunther getting the longest title reign, I'm sure that's fun for him personally in his head that he has the longest title reign. But other than that, him losing or winning isn't going to. I actually think him losing could push him even more, because then he can lose his edge and Imperium, move on to the title reign and be this fierce, out of control person. You know what I mean? But with what they did today, I was very confused. So Chad Gable comes out, interrupts Imperium, and basically says, that he's happy with the count out defeat because he hasn't lost in 3 years
500 days.
500 days, which is a long time. Yeah, so even before his Intercontinental title run. And a win's a win, and he beat him in the 5-minute challenge. He's in his head, and he's going to beat him again when they wrestle at Monday Night Raw next week. So bing, 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 number one, I was like, wait, what? They're not wrestling at Payback? You're going to have this on – I get you want Raw to be, but why don't you have Raw be the pushing of what's going on after Payback and starting new feuds, like
exactly.
Becky Lynch, like let's start some new feuds after this. But no, so they are wrestling at Payback, so that was number one. Then he's gonna wrestle Ludwig Kaiser, Mr. Chiseled himself, the one who walks around like this, the skinnier one, the one with hair, yeah. Into Maxine Dupree, and he's gonna wrestle him. So I'm like, all right, fantastic. All right, at least we're gonna get like a Chad Gable definitive win. Let's like squash out Kaiser, poor Kaiser. But that's what happens, right? I mean, it happened to why am I forgetting Big Boy's name? It happened to him last week. Yeah. Otis, thank you. Happened to Otis a couple weeks before with Gunther. And so what do we get in this match? Shooting Star, we get a 17-minute match, okay? 17 minutes match that ends in a DQ because Baldy comes in and interrupts. Mr. Vinci himself interrupts the match, and then they beat down Chad Gable and Otis to kind of close it out. I was very, very confused by this because you have this thing going on. You want to continue to make Chad Gable look like he can beat Gunther. What do? You have him squat. He should have wrestled Kaiser 7 minutes. 7 minutes max. Let Kaiser get a little in, and then Chad Gable and I know Chad Gable's not going to be someone who should be squashing people, but in this moment, he should. This is the Goon. If you can't beat the Goon quickly, how are you going to beat him for the IC title next week? So I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I think it's going away. Okay, I think it went away. Ooh, look at my face. It was like turning red because it was like about to come out. But yeah, so am I wrong on this? Did you like that this happened because it's not breaking up Imperium? Maybe I don't know because they were going that way. But I was very, very confused, and I thought this was a good moment to kind of push Chad Gable as that like, dude, he squashed Kaiser. You're next, Gunther. Next week, your ass is mine, basically. Oh, thank you, and then do it like that. But instead,
WWE did not convince me that Chad Gable has a chance against Gunther next week. They did. It makes me question if he's even the guy to do it. If Chad Gable's going to be the one to dethrone Gunther and end this reign, because they did nothing to convince me on this episode of Raw. Last week they convinced me. This week they did not convince me whatsoever. So yeah, I didn't like this. Like you said, he should have beaten Ludwig Kaiser so much easier than he did. He should have beaten him clean, and he should have schooled him and hit him with the ankle lock and said that this is you next week, Gunther, and except you're going to be tapping out, or I'm going to beat you 1, 2, 3, and that title's mine. Something, but yeah, the way they did this, it went on way too long too. That was the other thing. Like I think it did a long match, and the segment itself, the promo battle between Gunther and Chad Gable, kind of felt like the crowd started losing interest a little bit too. They weren't really as into it as they seemed to be last week when Chad Gable won by disqualification and he was celebrating like he just won the world title. The crowd was into that. They loved it. And when he won the week before in Minnesota, his home state, he was running around with his family and stuff. The crowd loved that. This week, the crowd just seemed flat in this segment, and probably because it was too long, and maybe they had the same reservations that we do, that I don't think Chad Gable has a chance now. Yeah,
I don't either. And it's heartbreaking because I was hoping, and for a good match, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes you miss that moment, and this was that moment. I'm not all for squash matches, but they do have a place, and that was that moment. Chad should have put it to him. And if you didn't want him to beat Kaiser like that, then have him beat Vinci and have him just squash him in 7 minutes, 5 minutes.
Something.
Just give him that push that, hey, look, your goons mean nothing to me. They're irrelevant. I want you, and you're next. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And I was not a fan of how they did that. One thing I am a fan of, though, I'm going to give credit where credit's due, is I'm kind of digging this push and this build that they've been doing for Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins. I wasn't feeling it at first. It just kind of felt like it came out of the blue when Shinsuke turned on Seth Rollins after yet another main event with the Judgment Day. But the last 2 weeks, we a couple weeks ago, we saw Shinsuke whisper into the ear of Seth Rollins, and we didn't know what he said. And apparently he said what we all knew, which is Seth Rollins has a bad back. And I know about your back injury. And, Seth Rollins has been pretty open about that in interviews and stuff, that he's got a bad back. But the last 2 weeks, they've been doing these video packages of Shinsuke, and I got to admit, I kind of digging this presentation of Shinsuke. I mean, he's not obviously with the language barrier. He's not the best on the microphone, and I feel like if you're going to build him up to be a credible challenger and a credible threat, I feel like this is a good way to do it. And this week, he got yet another video package from Shinsuke. Well, first, Seth Rollins came out and cut a promo, basically saying that he wants the Shinsuke Nakamura that sold out the Tokyo Dome, and the Shinsuke Nakamura that was the king of strong style, and the Shinsuke Nakamura that was the captain and the man who ran NXT. Yeah. And he doesn't like the Shinsuke that we have now. He wants that old Shinsuke back. And he did a bunch of Bray Wyatt tributes too, which I thought was classy. He had a Bray Wyatt armband. I don't know if you saw this, but he had the side plates of the Fiend on his World Heavyweight Championship.
No, that's cool.
He had the Fiend logo on his World Heavyweight Championship. Not notice that. And then he opened the promo with Yowie Wowie, which was obviously Bray Wyatt's catchphrase. But I mean, I thought this was all great. I thought it was all well done. And then we get the video package where basically Shinsuke says that he's going to dismantle Seth. He's going to when his children ask why he can't walk at Christmas time and why he can't hold them, he can tell them it's because of Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought it was great. He said he's gonna batter Seth. He's gonna brutalize him and tear him apart. And I mean, I like that side of Shinsuke. And then Seth Rollins demanded that he comes out here right now. Why wait until Payback? Come out right now. Everyone's gonna be singing my song. They don't sing your song anymore. Blah 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 blah. And then out comes Shinsuke with a sneak attack, and he takes out Seth Rollins. And I got to admit, man, like they've had 3 weeks to build this, and I feel like they've done this is probably the best match that they've built so far for Payback, and I'm digging this. I'm excited to see what they do.
I agree with you fully. And when they were doing the backstage stuff, I wasn't so sure how much I enjoy it, because I'm not one of those Americans who are like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't speak the language, then, I don't want to hear you. I don't understand. I can't get into it. Like, I can get into, I mean, AEW proves that. They're filled with international wrestlers who don't speak English, but they can do their thing, right? But I like that the WWE understood that and understands their fans, that their fans need the promo. They can't just have the straight ass-kicking style that's going to get you over. And so how else can we get Shinsuke over? By doing these backstage promos, and they've kind of worked. This could be like his thing. They're intense. They feel more important because, I mean, his language is powerful and strong, and the way he delivers it, it just seems intense. And what he's saying,
different elements too. Like there's one where he's like doing, I don't know if it's
jiu-jitsu he was doing his
martial arts of some sort.
He was doing,
and you get to see like a different side of him that you don't normally see.
No, it was really intense and cool, and man, Seth Rollins loves having family brought up in his promos. He's like, attack my family, can I attack yours? Matt Riddle, you're a drunken deadbeat father. Like, he wants to go. I love it. He's committed. You do your thing, Glen Coco. He's all about it. But yeah, I mean, Shinsuke talked about his wife, talked about, like you said, damaging him so his kids, won't even see him walk him down to her wedding. I mean, like, which is yowie wowie. But I did, the only thing is that it was quick, and I know we're going into predictions, but I have like a 1% inclination that Shinsuke has a chance of winning this match. And Seth Rollins, although I'm loving him and I love that he comes out every week wearing, I swear on my life, him and Becky Lynch are the same, like, body type. I think he wears all her outfits. This one you can't see because he had like a cover, his belt was on, but he had like a bow crop top on. It was like a green bow, like crop toppy, like, and to each its own. I'm glad he's rocking Becky Lynch's clothes and everything else, and his hair was down this week. But my thing with him now is that his promos have gotten kind of generic to me. It's like when WWE, when you become a babyface, you lose everything you had as a heel. Cody Rhodes is that now. Every week it's, hi, I'm John Cena, thank you. I'm going to do a Terry Funk thing, which is good. But other than that, I'm just going to come out and tell everybody hi and not have a feud just because I'm Cody Rhodes. Like, yay, cheer for me. And now, like, that's who Seth Rollins is. He comes out and does his music for 45 minutes. And then in the middle of him cutting a promo, talks about again, that like, oh, let me hear my song. Like, I get it, Seth. Like, people like singing your stupid song. Like, where's these like Seth Rollins promos? Like, I want some intensity. And he did it a little bit, but I just feel like now he's just I wear my wife's clothes, and you guys sing my songs. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's his
That's
shtick.
like his thing now. And I'm like, you're so much more than that, Seth. And just because you're a baby face doesn't mean you can't be a badass baby face. Like, come on, like let's go back to this.
Don't lose your edge. Yeah.
He didn't even really talk about Shinsuke's family. He could have easily attacked them or attacking his family. He was just kind of like, well, all right, sing my song. Yeah. They don't sing yours.
Which I feel like they did when Shinsuke's song.
I was hoping. I think that's why he didn't come out, because he would have looked really stupid if they would have sing his song.
Yeah,
which they probably would have.
They need Pat McAfee back. I mean, Pat McAfee used to be amped when Shinsuke's song came out, and Rick Boogs too. Rick Boogs got it.
Oh yeah, when he did the Shinsuke.
Yeah. Pat McAfee's dancing on the commentary table, but
I have a feeling Seth is going to get turned on by the fans soon. I feel like, I thought that about Cody too, but he hasn't gotten there yet. You know what I mean? The Cody Rhodes, like he is a little bit, but I feel like, I don't know. I just have this feeling that Seth is going to get turned on soon. I mean, it could just be me, and I'm a huge Seth fan. Like, he was my favorite in the Shield originally, and when he turned, I was amped. Like back in those days, like I like Seth. I just feel like babyface Seth right now. Don't just got to focus on your clothes and your song. Like, let's do your song thing when they get out, and then cut some good promos.
Yeah,
but other than that, I dig it. I
agree. I think the set that I love is the one that went after Matt Riddle's family, and the one that he goes below the belt and brings up personal stuff, and doesn't. Yeah, right now he's a little too generic, and I want to see more from him.
I just got a text from my boy Patrick who said, holy crap, don't you guys remember Raw after WrestleMania where Seth came out and we sang the song for 20 minutes and then he just left?
Yeah.
I mean, that was because also he had he literally just came out and did the song, and then
he just
went to commercial, and then he was just, that was the reason, because he was supposed to feud with somebody, and then blah, blah, that Raw was a hot mess. But just sang the song and let's go. Yeah, I'm over it. But all right, man, that was Raw. Right? It was kind of like, had a couple good things, but I do think Seth and Shinsuke right now is, no, Rhea too. Well, we'll get into Payback, what we're hyped for, but yeah. But let's go to NXT. And NXT really not having as much momentum as they did before. I think, but they're figuring it out, right? So we had some things going on. We had a 4. We're not going to talk about it, but we did have the 4 women battle for the next person to fight against Tiffany Stratton that nobody even cares about because she doesn't wrestle. And it was Kiana James, so that was cool. It was somebody new. And we had some other things kind of going on. We had the show close out with Carmelo Hayes about to knock on Shawn Michaels' door and was like, forget that, and just walked in and was like, we need to talk, which I don't know what he was watching on his phone or what was going on. But we're getting some stuff, and we're building some things, and they're building No Mercy, which is their next premium live event. But I wanted to talk about something that I kind of dig. We brought this up, the Global Heritage Cup. This kind of was brought in from NXT, not UK, NXT. Was it? Yeah, NXT UK. I'm correct, right? NXT UK, that's what it was called. I already forgot. It's been like 8 months since it's died out, and I'm like, NXT what? My brain, y'all. 42.
It's like the NFL Europe. Remember NFL Europe back then?
Yes.
Yeah. That's NXT UK. Yeah.
That's so funny. But what's funny is that most of their talent is from NXT UK. Like the NXT now, if you're a star, and even the ones in Rhea, I mean, it's all from NXT UK. But anyway. Yeah. So I'm not dogging it. I'm just saying I forgot what it was called. But NXT UK, and so they brought this over, and you and I were like, okay, why did we don't have enough belts now? We have like a soccer trophy champion, and this is what we're gonna do, and yada yada yada. But how do you get something over, right? How do you get something to feel important, right? You make it important, and that's what we were talking about with the IC title. Why did Gunther IC title reign feel so important? Because people wanted it. We had Drew McIntyre, we had Sheamus, we had real superstars who held titles before want a piece of it, and so it made it feel important. They are doing an invitational where they're doing 2 brackets, and I like it because the trophy is like a soccer trophy, so they're basically doing it like a soccer tournament. So we have a group A and a group B. They will face each other off in wins, draws, and losses, and they get a certain amount of points. So let me just really quick recap it. So it's a round-robin tournament set up as 2 groups of 4 with the winners facing off for a future title shot. All group matches have a 12-minute time limit, so there could be a draw because if it goes to a time limit, I'm assuming a draw is 1 point. And a win, I think, is – here it is. So it's 2 points for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. These matches are not under the round system. It's not like the way they do the Heritage Cup matches. But I like it. And we have 2 brackets, and we have some people here who feel important. So we got Butch. We were talking about that off here. That is Butch and Dom Dom now NXT officially, or I don't know. And why is he still Butch if he's back in NXT? Can we go back to, his name? But anyway, we got Butch, Tyler Bate, Axiom, and Charlie Dempsey. So that's a good 4 people. And then the other one, we got Joe Coffey, we got Tozawa, we got Duke Hudson, and we got Nathan Frazier, who's the former champ. So I feel like these 8 guys are pretty important guys in NXT, all fighting to wrestle for this title at No Mercy. And we had 2 matches go right off the bat, and it was, I think, 2 good matches. Although Nathan Frazier lost, I was surprised, but it is what it is to Joe Coffey. But I like it, man. I think it's fun. And I know we kind of brag and, poop on it. We were pooping on AEW again, which we'll talk about tomorrow, having another tournament to declare a champion. But in certain cases, you don't need it. Like for the World Championship, that's important. Whoever's going to go for it is important. You don't need to do that. But with this, because this thing isn't really established, I think this is a good way to establish it. You get the right person to win. You have, the champ kind of out there, and he had his whole stage set with the Metaphor doing his thing. I mean, it felt important. I think it's going to feel important until No Mercy. I liked it, and I kind of was intrigued by this on NXT. It was one of my favorite things, I think.
Yeah, anytime they try something different, I'm always intrigued, because usually it's the same thing week in and week out, which we've been dogging Monday Night Raw for being. And here's NXT trying some new things, and I actually like it. I like the format. I think it makes sense. I like that it's a round robin tournament as opposed to your typical you lose and you're out type thing. I like that I like the point system. I just hope it doesn't become too convoluted or too confusing when we get to trying to crown the winner of this thing, where this person has 10 points, but because they lost by disqualification, they're going to get 9 points.
Yeah.
I don't want it to become something like that. So I hope they have a clear plan for how they want to see this thing through. And I am curious to see. I was surprised. You said you were surprised that Nathan Frazier lost. I was actually surprised that Charlie Dempsey lost to Butch. I wanted to see. I love Butch. I love Pete Dunne. I like the Brawling Brutes, but this is NXT, and he's been on SmackDown. He's been on the main roster. He's been in the Brawling Brutes, and maybe this is his way of like stepping away from them and doing his own thing, which I'm all for. But Charlie Dempsey, I feel like, deserved this win. We're trying to build him up, and we know what Butch can do. We know what he's capable of doing. We need to build up Charlie Dempsey. But again, it's not a lose and you're out. So Dempsey will have an opportunity to redeem himself and get some more wins and some more points. So So
agreed.
Curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, me too.
And then something that I didn't really like about NXT was the steel cage match between the Creed brothers and the Dyad. The match itself was fine. I just didn't like the stipulation of, if the Creed brothers win, they're reinstated into NXT. And it's just, why are we doing this? And then yet another loss for the Schism faction. It's just, we talk about Judgment Day losing all the time and how you can't take a faction seriously when they lose every other week. And,
every week, yep.
Imperium, they lose quite a bit, and it's hard to take them seriously. And now we have Schism, who I don't think they've ever won a match. I mean, I don't remember the last time they've won something of importance. And the match, like I said, the match was fine. I thought the Dyad, they had it was a solid way to open NXT, and I thought it was a great show, great match. It was probably their best match that they've had, but I had no doubt that the Creed brothers were going to win. I had when they built this match, week before, I knew, okay, the Creed brothers are going to win, because Schism never wins. The Dyad, they don't win. And I also don't like the whole, we left NXT, but now we get to have a match to be reinstated to NXT. I don't know. I think I'm kind of irritated because the tag division on the main roster really needs some depth, especially with Pretty Deadly being hurt now. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn doing the same thing week in and week out, that I think the Creed brothers would have fit in nicely on the main roster instead of going back to NXT and getting themselves reinstated by beating the Schism yet again. So I liked the match. The match was great. It was entertaining. It was fun. I just didn't like the outcome, and B, the stipulation.
Yeah, and I liked the match too, because it was a steel cage match, but it was a fight. they just got down. You know what I mean? Like Booker T would say, they were, you know, they were scrapping, they were doing their thing, and I like that. But this just like brings me back to the days of when, you know, Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior wrestled to a retirement match, and Macho Man came back a few months later, and I'm just confused on what the point of their first match was. Was it to get the dyad over? Because if so, it didn't work, because now the dyad aren't over. You know what I mean? So I didn't get that part of it. I don't. It was all very confusing with what, like, you had them beat a month ago or so, and then they were interfering instantly. They're supposed to leave NXT. So does Triple H not have a plan for them? Did they want to move them over? And then they're kind of like, oh, our tag division's kind of all over the place, so we don't have a spot for you right now. So let's get you back into NXT. And what's the point of having a match of a loser leave town if you can just have a rematch for it later on? So that's what I didn't like about it. And Schism too, Ava Reigns walked out. So I'm assuming that's it for Schism. But if it is, what do we do with Ava Reigns? Is she coming to the bloodline, how she should have done, like I said a long time ago? Yeah. But if so, they didn't really build her much. I mean, she got some promos in, but she hasn't wrestled other than once or twice. So it's not like she built her skills in NXT during that time.
And
or is she just gonna become somebody else in NXT? Or what are we doing with Gacy? Is now he gonna go solo, which he can, and Gacy can go to the big stage. He's ready. So I mean, I don't know. So I'm just kind of all confused by it, like you. It was weird booking, to say the least.
Yeah, big time.
And now they're back. Diamond Mine's back. So I don't know what's going on with that. All right, let's get into it. We got some prediction time.
Prediction time.
And we have some good predictions. Prediction time. We got some good prediction times coming on. Let's see here. And we were talking about this. You sent me this card earlier in the week. And I sent you back a text, I'm not afraid to admit it, where I basically said this is a Monday Night Raw. And so, but I think now when I looked at it again, it feels a little bit more important than a Monday Night Raw. Although this Raw, I don't know what SmackDown's going to bring. Are they going to add Jimmy Uso into Payback? Are they going to do something like that maybe that they wanted to do a week ago and it didn't work? Are we getting Jimmy versus Jay at Payback? Are we going to get one more big thing that we're going to miss on our prediction right now? But the go-home show was like an AEW go-home show for All In. It was kind of weak for a go-home show. I mean, what really hyped you up about KO and Sammy versus the Judgment Day? What really hyped you up? I mean, they had good hype for a couple of them, Miz and LA Knight. Ray and Austin might be SmackDown. I don't know. But nonetheless, there's like 5 title matches on this card and a couple other big ones. So I'm kind of intrigued to watch it on Saturday. Maybe sometime the sleeper cards are the good ones, the ones that are overhyped kind of let you down. So let's see. We're going to start at the bottom. Let's start with the first one that was just announced on Raw. We got the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship, KO and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Days, Damian Priest and Finn Balor in a Steel City Street fight. Let's see some Steeler helmets.
That's right. Steeler helmets and blades of steel and all of it. Bring it.
Big Ben can come in here and tickle people. Okay.
No, we don't want that. Yeah.
Hey. All right. So, my man, you start as always. The honorary dude. What you thinking? I
think I got the Sami Zayn shirt on. I love Sami Zayn and KO. Even though now they have a new shirt. As soon as I get this shirt, they come out with a new one every time.
Yeah.
But
together forever. Fighting together. That's fighting
together. Yeah. But no, I'm going to go with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I said a few weeks ago in my unpopular opinion that it's time for the tag team champions to move on. It's time to get the belts off of KO and Sammy. And I think Finn Balor needs to win something. He's acting like this Money in the Bank briefcase is kryptonite. He's acting like it's like I don't know, but he has to win. And Damian Priest, I think he could take a loss, but I think Finn Balor cannot afford yet another loss. And I think they're going to come home with the tag team titles.
We need all gold on Judgment Day. The end.
Yes.
And I think there you go, Patrick. New champs. I'm the same. I think it has to be Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Finn Balor needs it. Damian Priest needs it. Then he has you can still build with their little bickering with JD as the champs. You can still continue on with that, but at least they'll have gold. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are stale now, man. They've run their course. They got injured. They kind of faded away. They need to branch off. I know the tag team division needs some help, but they were never really a tag team anyway. We can have Sammy go be the next person for Gunther. We can have KO be the next person for Seth. You can move these people on. They can still be fighting together. You can still be a faction and not have to be a tag team.
Yeah,
so I think it's time for them to branch off, and let's build Judgment Day up a little bit.
I wish that they would split the titles too, because you could still keep the belts on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, keep like the SmackDown titles on them, and have them only on SmackDown, and then but these are for the undisputed titles, so whoever wins is going to get both of them. But I do wish that they would split the titles, and then you can get both.
Well, yeah, but this is another good reason why Judgment Day should win it, because they want to run all of WWE. So now with them as champs, they could be on all channels. Now they're on NXT, Raw, SmackDown. They're on it all. All right, next up, we probably got an easy one. The Miz versus LA Knight in a match.
Just a match.
Yay, WWE. Way not to make everything a stipulation. Who you got?
I'm going with obviously LA Knight. LA Knight's got to win, and I think the Miz is going to make him look like $1 million. And I think this. I know a lot of people like to say that the SummerSlam Battle Royal was the victory there was the official LA Knight coming out party. But I think that Bray Wyatt promo last week was the official LA Knight coming out party. There's a reason they asked him to do it. And yes, I know it's because he was Bray's last opponent, but the way he did that, the way he carried himself, I think they're going to strap the rocket to him, and they're going to send him to the moon. And this is going to be the start of it. So LA Knight's going to win.
Yeah. I'm going to laugh my ass off when the Miz wins. Triple H is a punk. I don't think people understand him. I mean, D-Generation X was like him, right? That wasn't like a gimmick. That was him letting himself be himself on national TV. I think he loves marks. I'm going to go LA Knight, but I'm just saying, I'm going to laugh my little tushy off when the Miz beats LA Knight just to once again, I know LA Knight beat Finn Balor, but I think that match was not even going to be in the records. I think, I'm going to laugh when
I could see, now that you've said that, I could see the Miz pulling off some shenanigans like he did with Bronson Reed, where he paid him to beat Dexter Lumis, and I could see him doing something like that. He pays somebody to beat down LA Knight, and then the Miz gets the victory that way. I can see it.
Maybe this is a shining moment for the Miz. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're getting the wrong push going.
Maybe he pays off Bobby Lashley in the Hurt Business, and they come out and because they had that deal before with the Money in the Bank. So
wait, he's going to be the Owen Hart of the Nation of Domination for the.
Maybe, no,
I hope so.
That would be He could come out dressed as Owen.
Yeah,
that would go over like a lead balloon.
Enough is enough. I love that gimmick. All right, rest in peace, Owen Hart. All right, next up we got the champ Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title. You know what's funny? Really quick for you to do your prediction. Rey wrestled on SmackDown, and I almost was 100% sure he didn't bring the belt out. But then they gave him the belt afterwards because the non-title. I'm like, did Rey even bring the belt out? I forgot he was even the champ. So that just shows how much into this reign I'm into. But who do you got? Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio.
There's no point in taking it off of Austin Theory just to put it right back on him 2 to 3 weeks later. So Rey Mysterio is walking out still U.S. champion. All
right, you ready? Are you ready?
Go for it.
All right, I'm going. Santos Escobar turns on Rey Mysterio, costing him his United States champion, thus giving it back to Austin Theory. I think they hinted at it way too much during the Grayson Waller effect. They keep talking about it, and Santos is like, no, we're besties, stop it. But he wasn't answering. Rey was kind of jumping in there. Is LWO still a thing? I'm going with a turn from Santos Escobar to that feud moving forward.
I think that's
Austin Theory go lose to LA Knight. That's what
I think that's eventually going to happen. I just don't see it happening right now. I feel like you got to build to it a little bit and tease the tension. But then again, we've been saying that for the Judgment Day for the last 6 months, and now we're like, okay, break up already if you're going to do something. So maybe don't tease it so much.
Yeah, who knows? All right. Next up, we got a non-title match, one of the few. We had a steel cage match between the gorgeous, the never-aging Trish Stratus versus the also gorgeous Becky Lynch in a match that needs to end. A feud that needs to end.
Yeah.
Shooting star. We were so hyped for this feud.
I know we really were.
But who do you got? Obviously, I mean,
I think this is where Zoe Starks turns on Trish Stratus and cost her the match, and we're going to see Becky Lynch climb out of the cage because of Zoe Stark, and Becky Lynch is going to win.
That's good. I like it. I mean, I'll go with that too. I mean, Becky Lynch is winning. It doesn't matter if it's by whatever, but. Still, cages almost always guarantee interference. That's like the whole point, that no one's going to get in, although there's no top. But no they always find a way in. That always happens. So yeah, I like that. I'll go the same with you. But yeah, I got Becky winning this match and hopefully ending it forever. And hopefully Trish does not disappear because I need her on my screen.
Bring her back.
I agree. All right, last two championships. We'll start with the Women's World Championship. The champ, Rhea Ripley, versus her biggest foe ever, Raquel Rodriguez. Who you got?
Oh, man. Rhea Ripley. I think they've been building her to be the strong champion. Now, I will give them credit. They've been making Raquel Rodriguez look super strong over the last few weeks, and she looks like a credible threat to Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley's walking out with the Women's World Championship.
100%. Rhea Ripley's winning this. But Raquel will look better for it. I think she's going to dominate Rhea for most of it, and Rhea will find a way to win, even if it's a dom cheating. Maybe they'll keep it going. But Rhea wins nonetheless. Rhea ain't dropping this belt anytime before WrestleMania. I don't even know if she'll drop it then. Rhea's going to have this belt for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they love
Mommy's always on top, bruh.
One thing Triple H loves is really long title reigns.
Right?
See, Roman Reigns, Gunther, Bianca Belair held the women's title for a year plus.
Everybody.
Austin Theory had the U.S. title for a while. So, yeah, Rhea Ripley's holding this belt for a while. She's not dropping it right now.
Yeah. And before, so we got the last one. I just wanted to point out that I am surprised, though, that we got no Io Sky and we got no Gunther on this card.
Yeah,
so,
they could have easily put in Io Sky. Or, yeah, an Io Sky match. Even the Gunther-Chad Gable match should be here. And there's no
I think so.
No Cody Rhodes match. He's in the Grayson Waller effect for some.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. So Cody Rhodes is on Grayson Waller. I forgot we wanted to talk about that. Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller.
So what's the point? What are we doing here? Are we getting Cody versus Grayson, or is this Cody's next? Is somebody going to come out and beat the snaps? I mean, that's people to return. It can't be Randy, right? You can't have Randy Orton against Cody Rhodes. So who do you? I mean, maybe. I'm assuming. We would all be saying rest in peace, the late great Bray Wyatt probably right now is what we would be predicting. And maybe that was the plan, but who do you got? I mean, Cody's on this for a reason. He's not on here just to talk.
Yeah, so there's part of me that feels like this is because John Cena's coming back on SmackDown as well. And John Cena gave Cody Rhodes the Cena rub a few months ago before WrestleMania. And we all know that Grayson Waller had a run-in with John Cena recently at Money in the Bank, and John Cena had a match at WrestleMania against Austin Theory. So I'm thinking this is going to lead to some sort of tag match of some sort with Cody Rhodes and John Cena eventually going against Theory and Grayson Waller, maybe at Fastlane or something, and this is going to set it up to it.
All right.
That's my prediction, at least.
All right. I like it. All right. Let's go. World Championship. Seth Rollins, the champ, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Who you got?
Oh, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is winning. I think there's going to be shenanigans, and I think Shinsuke is going to brutalize his back, and Seth is going to barely walk out of there with the title, but he's going to retain. He's going to hit a last-second curb stomp or something and put Shinsuke down. So
I agree. I think so, too. I think it's going to be Seth all day, every day. Shinsuke, they love him, but they just don't love him enough. Let Shin win. I agree. I
want him to win. I just
if there's no swerves, why not have this be a swerve on Payback at the very end? It could happen. I mean, I could see it happening, but I don't know. I do like where they're going with it. Or maybe Seth wins due to shenanigans. I mean, Seth could easily win the shenanigans and keep the feud going. I don't know, but I'm going to say my gut says Seth, so I'm going to go with Seth.
Yeah, I think Seth is going to pull it out.
I agree. All right, man. That was predictions. That's it. That's a Payback card. I'm going to watch it. I'm actually going to watch this one. So I got my kids this weekend. I'm going to check it out, cruise on it and watch it. Easy going. And then we're back tomorrow, everybody, for AEW.
Yeah, we've got some thoughts on that. And
we got thoughts. We're going to do All In. We're going to do Dynamite, and then we're going to do predictions for All Out, and we're going to have some talk about CM Punk.
Everybody's favorite chick magnet. Yeah. He's all we're talking about. He's all the rage these days. Yeah.
Yes, he is. So we're going to talk about him tomorrow. So we'll see you guys tomorrow live earlier in the day again. And yeah, man, as always, keep tuning in, keep doing your thing, keep liking us, keep subscribing to us, keep telling your friends. We appreciate it. And I am the dude of Wrestle Talk, Mr. MWO. And with me, as always, is
Shooting Star Press. On our handles are on the screen at Shooting Star PRS on TikTok and Instagram at My Wrestling Opinion and My _wrestling_opinion on Instagram as well, or at My Wrestling Opinion on TikTok and then at My _wrestling_opinion on Instagram.
My Wrestling Opinion was taken on Instagram. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Who has it? I bet they haven't posted anything.
Nope.
But yeah, follow us, subscribe. We're making big waves on the download front, so keep the word out. We're getting some good reviews, and then go and comment and subscribe and hit us up on YouTube. We're 38 followers away or subscribers away on YouTube from 500. So
let's go.
Yeah, we got to do like a celebration or something for hitting the 500 subscriber mark. So maybe we'll do a giveaway or something and give back to all of you. So email the show if you haven't. 2 Dudes with Attitudes podcast at gmail.com. Give us your input, give us your takes, give us your information. And if you agree with us or disagree, tell us your predictions. And don't forget to buy your WWE merch from our affiliate link. And yeah, we'll get a cut of that, and everything you guys do will go right back into the show. Microphones, giveaways, studio stuff, whatever. So we want to make this thing better for y'all.
Yes, sir. Well said. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll
be back tomorrow.
Welcome to the pod every Wednesday. Back to represent 2 dudes with attitudes. Yeah, here comes the main event. Every week it's the dudes from the